Hello, hi guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all. Okay, so let's get started for next 30 to 40 minutes. So we are going to have a quick overview and also the outline understanding for AWS Certified Solution Architect training. So focus of this training, it's mainly making students understand the AWS services, not only on the theory part, even on the practical point of view, how it really works on the real time. So then we will also discuss about some of the prerequisites, how it's going to be. So then we will also discuss in terms of the course delivery, how we generally, have a predefined delivery methods. Before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Suresh, 15 years now in the IT. So initially I was more into IT infra, data center operations, and I also worked as a DBA, database administrator for some time. And from last 8 to 9 years, I'm working full time on cloud. Initially, it was AWS completely, and later I also started work on Azure. So currently, I work for both cloud, AWS as well as Azure. So we mainly involve in the projects like setting up cloud environment, migrating servers from the on-premises to cloud. So we also help the customers if someone is already having a cloud, how to fine tune it in terms of introducing new features and making cloud more productive and secured. So that's something we work on daily basis, right? So in terms of training, I just take training to share my knowledge and with others, more like practical knowledge uh, during mainly on the weekend as well as the weekdays during my free time, right? So that's one quick introduction, guys. Now, quickly to take you through, this training outlines. Now, in terms of AWS, if you look at an certification point of view, so there are initial certifications like AWS practitioner, and also there is a AWS SysOps. So these are very basic certifications. So when it comes to the working certification stream, like someone who wanted to showcase their experience to get into the job, right? So the AWS Certified Solution Architect something it's recommended, right? So within the AWS Certified Solution Architect, there are two streams. One is AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate. So other one is AWS Certified Solution Architect as Professional, right? And the professionality is generally for someone who already have a working experience, at least 2 to 3 years of AWS. But associate something who is have a basic understanding, or someone is getting into the AWS, right? So that's how the certification is placed. Now, in terms of course contents, whatever I am showing here, this is the official guide from the AWS. So it's very on the high level, like in terms of domains they distributed, like design, resilient architecture, high performing architecture, then application and architecture, and then cost optimized architectures, right? So this is just from the exam point of view. So in terms of question, how it is distributed across, right? So what important here is understanding the key AWS services from the practical point of view. Do a hands-on on each and every services, whatever we talk, right? So that is something very important. That's something we are focusing. And in terms of certification, see that is passing certification. It's not a really big deal, so anyone can, with some practice test preparation, so you can crack this certification. But important thing is having a practical knowledge. So we have multiple hands-on labs, so which will guide you to, set up each and AWS services on your own. So that will give you the confidence, and that will also drive your further learning, because if you just only learn the theory and you learn for some time till you complete the certification up, and afterwards you will forget, right? So, but here we more focus on having hands-on exercise classes. So theory anyhow, we have customized notes created, and also we have presentations. The presentations which will mainly help you to understand things in the very easy manner. There are a lot of graphical representation over the presentation, right? Now coming to on in term of services, so like we have design architectures, these are the services, then high performing architectures. So these are all individual services which are repeated as well. But in terms of going through the course contents in detail, so it's explained in Visual Path website itself. So this is the course content what we cover in the high level, right? So initially, we will start with the introduction to cloud. It's more like understanding, the cloud uh, theory, right? So it's what is cloud, how it is set up, what are the types of cloud we have, and even we will also discuss about the advantages, right? So then we will discuss about more like type of the clouds, how it is different, cloud delivery service models. So next we will start with the actual cloud training. Now for cloud, to work with the cloud. So along with the cloud, there are additional skills that is required. For example, Linux. So this is not part of AWS training, but however, so we cover this is as an extra because that is something mandatory for the cloud learning, right? So we will also take you through the Linux. We have customized document for it. Then introduction to AWS services. Here we discuss one by one AWS services. So we discuss about EC2, S3, EBS, ELB. So then the database services in the database, these are all PaaS service we call it as. That is a platform as a service. So when I say platform as a service, it's more like pre-created AWS service where you need to only deploy your database. Also, in case of application, only the application code. So that is, advanced way of setting up cloud environment nowadays. So we will discuss about that. So we will also discuss about DynamoDB. Then there are features called auto scaling, Amazon Elastic Cache. Then we will discuss about IAM, that is identity and access management part. Then we will discuss about VPC, which is very important. It's how we set up a cloud initially. So before setting up all the cloud services, so we need to set up VPC. So we should know how to set it up very securely and also as per the best design practice. Now, a lot of people, when they start with the cloud learning, so they just create some account either AWS or Azure. The later, so they will simply, provision couple of machines and they think that is a cloud everything, right? So, but it's not the thing. I mean, so when you get into the AWS cloud, you can just spin up an instance and you can deploy your application, no doubt. But it is not the right method, right? So there is a possibility if you don't configure your AWS securely, there might happen some attacks. You might lose your data. There are a lot of possibility of things are going wrong. So we should know the correct way of setting up AWS services. That is something expected in your company environment, right? So that is something we are going to discuss in detail. So we will discuss about cloud formation. So we will discuss about SES, that is email service, then queue service, then notification service. So we will also discuss about serverless environment, something called Lambda. So nowadays, the serverless environment also having, getting a traction. So when I say serverless, so you will not have fixed server running for your application. Rather, there would be a platform. So you will only bothered about your application code or script. So you will not really think on setting up server, setting up your application code, or configuring those servers, or monitoring their health status, etc., etc. No. So you only need to think about your application code or script, and then you should be able to deploy it on the cloud. So that's something we call it as a serverless. So there are different services in the AWS. For example, Lambda is a serverless. So we have DynamoDB, that is a serverless. Then S3 is the service, serverless. So all these services, it makes the faster deployment and minimum, operation work, right? So we generally call it as the support work. So that reduces overall support work. Then we will also discuss about some of the migration strategy like no ball, snowball, or right. So then some of the DevOps code we will discuss on high level like code commit. Then we will discuss about monitoring tool like Cloud Trial. So there is another uh, product called CloudWatch. So we will discuss about Elastic Beanstalk. Then we will also discuss about some of the caching services. So that is CloudFront. So the caching services, it's mainly used in case if you have a static website which is having huge website content. For example, if you go for website like Toyota, or some of the graphic design companies website, so they are very large in size, right? So they will put a lot of high definition images. Now, if you try to access those websites, it will take time to load. So, for example, if the website is hosted on India, and if you're accessing it from US or Europe countries, so certainly you will find default latency, right? So because of internet path, right? So since these two countries are very far, and you know how the network internet connectivity happens, right? So there are a lot of cables are passed through, deep sea and etc., etc. It's internet design. So by design itself, you will find there is a latency when you're accessing the application. So in such cases, even your application servers are running extremely good, but website when it accessed from other part of globe, so it would be extremely slow. So such scenario, so we use something called caching. So caching means, so there would be a local caching services which is spread across the globe. So moment you enable it, so whatever your website heavy contents like homepage, images, right? Some of the JavaScripts or CSS files are distributed across these caching locations. So in such cases, what happens when you access the website from the US? So it will not load everything from India servers. So rather, so it will be loaded from the local caching locations. So that will make your entire website, very fast. Okay. So then we have services called Route 53. So that's mainly the DNS service, right? So DNS is very, very important one. So we will discuss about that. Then there is a Glacier. So that is kind of a storage after S3. So it's mainly used for storing, infrequent data. We call it as mainly for backup files, logs, and all. So we will discuss how to use that. So then we also going to discuss on the KMS part, that is key management service. So key management service, it's mainly used to protect your various credentials and the certificates. So what you use in your AWS services. So when you want to connect from application server to database server, so you need to have some passwords, right? So there is a practice like someone will hard code the username and password in the application code, right? So that is not the right practice, because if someone gets that username and password, so anyone can get into your database. To avoid that, so we have something called key management service. So where you will store your all the important credentials on key management service, and you will call the services. I mean, when you want to connect the AWS database from the application server, so you will call through the key management service, right? So you will not store any password on the application it. So that's something called as a KMS service or key management service, right? So these are again in detail what is really set up, what we are going to cover, like creation of user account, creation of custom policies, So these are very detailed, informations like what exactly we are going to cover. So it's all with practical, classes, creating VPC or NAT instances, peering, Route 53, for example. So we are going to do each one in detail, right? So any questions, guys? Anything wanted to clarify?
So Suresh, Siddharth here. So I want to know the durations
Yeah.
of this course.
Yeah. So committed hours, it is 32.
Okay. So apart from this,
32 hours. Yeah.
the real-time project also you will be providing.
Yes. So we will cover the hands-on scenarios for each and every services, and also we are going to set up. There are three projects, which is more like a real-time scenario. So that's something we are going to set it up on the cloud.
So Suresh, one question is that since currently I have knowledge, I will tell that DevOps tools I used to implement in my work also. So for me, because if I explain my profession, it's like a Java backend with DevOps tools knowledge, okay, and work. So when I want to move into AWS, so is it a good option? How it is?
Yeah. So nowadays, what's happening is the cloud is becoming default now. So you everyone need to have basic cloud understanding. So that is something expected. But yeah, so from the developer point of view, now most of the applications are becoming the developer oriented, right? So for example, if you take serverless applications like Lambda or serverless applications like DynamoDB, so it's directly becoming part of the development code pipeline itself. So you are the one going to set up a infrastructure, and you are the one who going to deploy your application code. So in such case, so it is very important you should be aware of the infrastructure part, how it works. It is not just only from the application point of view you are knowing. So you should know the entire holistic view of the cloud. So in terms of their design, in terms of the security control, in terms of policies, in terms of their connectivity across dependent services.
Thanks,
That
Suresh.
answers your query. Yep.
Yeah.
Hi, Banu here.
Yep.
Services which we are going to learn, it is manually or also automation using Python.
So in this training, so we cover, yeah, I mean, through the manual, but we will also discuss some of the automation tools, example Terraform, through which we can automate entire deployment. So initially, we will understand manually one by one. Then we will mimic that through the Terraform cloud in the high level.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so in terms of course content, so we use something called Google Classroom for sharing the course content. Okay, so we have a customized course contents for each and every topic, right? So that's something which will help you to understand entire course contents one by one. For example, AWS talks. So we have set up document for each and every topic. So it is with good graphical presentation, which will help you to understand. So then we'll also have a pre-created notes, which is more specific, not too much information. So with very specific to whatever it's required, of certification, also in term of so general AWS understanding. So then we will also provide a, assignments in terms of each and every course, right? So I mean, for example, today we are completing EC2 topic. So there is a setup hands-on for EC2. So that we will give as a assignments. So that's something you need to complete for each topic. So that would give you more on practical knowledge. So then, so additional topics like we covered like Linux. So that is also beneficial because that's something mandatory for cloud, to make any application running on cloud. So along with that, we will also discuss some of the important topic like Dockers because however it's not part of curriculum, but we will cover those how Docker works, how we can set up our applications, etc. Right. So in terms of course recording, so each and every class trainings are recorded and that would be shared through the LMS portal. So we have a separate Visualpath LMS portal. So through the LMS portal, you can access all the recordings. So that is something the lifetime access you have. So after the training, so in case if you're looking for certification, so there are test papers. So that will help you at least 70 to 80% questions would come from there. So that's something we will share it across at the end of the training. So if someone is looking for appearing AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate certification, right? So so in terms of the lab setup, so most of the lab scenarios which are practical based, so we don't just touch upon theory. So we will look at actual, the well architected AWS, design. So how it would be set up in terms of considering their availability zone. So in terms of considering their security layers, like so by default when you deploy your AWS service, if you just create a AWS account and try to set it up, so you will directly set up a instance on default network. That is not the best practice, right? So we will teach you how to get it done on the right way. For example, you're having public subnets. So by having a private subnet, so you're having a dedicated Bastion instance. So also blocking all the internet access to the servers like for app servers and DB servers. So we will also introduce the security layers like application load balancer with WAF, which is web application firewall, which will filter all malicious traffic to your network, right? So then we'll also discuss about some of the features like auto scaling, where it should be introduced, how it would be beneficial. So for dynamic load, right? So when the users are keep changing in term of count, we need to have a dynamic EC2 instances. So it should be spinned up whenever it's required and it should be terminated whenever it's not required. So those kind of environment. So most of this environment we will discuss with practical scenarios, not just a theory part, right? So that's how this training is planned to deliver. Yeah. So in terms of number of hours, yeah. So as I uh, mentioned earlier, so it's a 32 hours, but however, sometimes it's get extended also because uh, it's there is a lot of hands-on, right? There are possibility that we might take some time while doing hands-on. There might be some issues while doing hands-on. That is something expected. So it might go to 35, 36 hours also sometimes. Yeah, makes sense.
Hi, Suresh, this training will be only weekdays or weekends also it will be there, continuous.
The currently it is weekdays only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Suresh,
Okay.
Suresh, what will be
So
the timings
yeah.
weekdays?
That's something we can discuss. This batch we are targeting for evening, the same time, whatever we started today.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, it's fine.
So if you have some special other timing like morning, so generally we have morning and evening batches, but morning batch something we already started, but evening something we have free slot, and yeah, so this is something we are targeting for evening.
So Suresh, one more question, like since after this course you told you will providing the documents regarding the certification who wants to continue. Apart from that, like interview, so you have to attend. So you provide any support for that as well?
Yeah, so interview, so there are different mode of support, right? So from my trainer point of view, I can help you with the interview questions. So we have a bunch of interview questions which even I take interview panel. So based on that, so there are around 80 plus questions which we will share it across. And other support, that's something, yeah, Visualpath helps out. So are you looking something specific? Anyone? Anything?
Not specific, because I am looking at the purpose of job as well. Because I am looking after this course, I will
Correct.
be continuing for certification and looking out any job
Hmm.
in AWS. So for that, the you can understand the projects, anyhow the interview
Yeah,
preparations.
job
So those
support
things, yeah.
something we can extend the help. So for example, what happens if someone is new to the AWS and after the training, if you're getting a job, so we can extend job support. So like when you're doing the
Yeah.
projects, you come across some issues or we can extend it. But I think that's something taken it as a separate, not part of the course. I think it's taken as a separate, but yeah, so that help would be there.
Thanks, Suresh. Yeah.
Yeah. So other thing in terms of communicating with the trainer, so we have something called stream section here. So that will initiate interaction with the trainer. For this case, I'll be the trainer for this batch. So in case if you have any questions, you can raise it, and I can help it out. So even after the training, so the stream is active. So if any practical questions or issues you're coming across, you can raise it. So we will always happy to help. Even that helps us our database also. So that's something we extend for everyone. Yeah. So that's something we generally cover on this very basic introduction class, right? So again, coming to on the lab part, so we will explain in the first class. So how to set up your own AWS account. Yeah. So it will completely be the hands-on, and AWS will provide you 1 year free tier account. And using that option, so we can run this lab completely on zero cost. Right. So there might be possibility maximum you will get 1 or 2 USD, but even that refund we can get it from the AWS. Overall, we can do this entire training on the AWS lab on the zero cost. Yeah. So in the first class, I will explain how to get that account created, and also I'll explain how to use in the free tier criteria. So it's like it's not unlimited. When you say free tier, it has got its own I can say the capping. So we should be adhere to that. So we are going to do that. Yeah. So yeah, so in terms of codes contents, yeah, I explained it here. So there are and so on for each and every content. So if you wanted to go through the codes content in detail, so you can just refer this Visual Path portal. So here we explained each and every topic, what it is targeted to cover in this training, right? So resting in terms of course prerequisite is everything. So we will start with the next piece. Yeah. So any questions? I'm happy to help. Else we are good to wind up. And I think if someone is planning to have training anything, so you can just ping Visualpath. There is someone from the Visualpath in the chat. You can ping across. So there is someone called Visualpath as an organizer. So you can share your details. So any questions, guys? Anything wanted to clarify before closing this demo part?
This is Abdul Naim here. Actually, just I want to know.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
Naeem.
new to the AWS,
Mm-hmm.
so just I'm a little bit confused whether I need to go for the Microsoft Azure or AWS.
Okay. So see now the in terms of cloud provider, right? So you have of course two options, AWS and Azure. Now it depends. Now still, if you ask me who is the cloud leader, it is a AWS. Okay, so most of the I can if you take 100 customers, so you can find 50% of the customers on the AWS, maybe 30% on the Azure, and remaining 20% maybe Oracle or IBM or other cloud. So AWS is still cloud provider or topmost, and in terms of products and features, it still leads compared to the Microsoft. But yeah, so Microsoft also not really very far from the AWS. It's also growing. So the reason it's also have a enterprise connect already. So it's also growing. But if you ask which one to choose, it depends, like one criteria maybe on which customer you are working. If they already have Azure, then it is preferred to go with Azure. But so most of the projects you will get around AWS. Second place Azure.
Why? Because in my organization, my colleagues has done Microsoft Azure.
Mhm.
So just I want to go for a different part like AWS. That's why I'm selecting AWS.
Yeah. So AWS other thing is it is slightly simpler compared to the Azure. So Azure is bit of not very complex, but bit of complex compared to But AWS is something quite straightforward.
Okay. So, so that's the thing. Just I'm a little bit confused whether to go for the Microsoft. Why? Because in my organization, my colleagues are telling, "Oh, go for Microsoft." Why? Because Microsoft has many courses like Windows. They have everything from the Microsoft. Amazon are only having this cloud computing.
Yep. Yep.
So, so I'm just very new to this cloud computing.
Okay, so if you have very basic understanding, then it's better to go with the AWS because it's quite matured one and it is very easy to understand. Again, it's something you can decide, but yeah. So in terms of learning point of view, AWS is a bit simpler compared to Azure, at least in the initial stage.
Okay. So the timing will be 8 o'clock, same time which
Correct.
started.
Yeah.
So in the morning time, any
Yeah. Yeah.
which timing it will start? Any?
So morning we have 7 a.m., but that batch is already on. It conclude in next 10 days. Afterwards, we
Hello.
will start a new batch. Yep.
Yeah, this is Jawad. Just a quick question. Like, as a basic beginner, if I have to make a career in AWS and cloud computing, like, I get that after I do this course, I will be able to pass the AWS Architect Associate certification. Then, what? I mean, do we have any further courses to advance to go a little bit ahead, advanced level after this one?
Yeah, so there are individual courses on individual AWS services with a deeper, like we have container courses, containerization and Kubernetes. So we have DevOps, in-depth course. So there are also courses which are more related to machine learnings.
Okay. So after 6 weeks of this course, will I be? I mean, obviously, after there will be some effort from my side as well. But will I be good enough to join those courses immediately after this 6 weeks time period?
Yeah, so provided you complete all hands-on and the course projects on time, so you can it's possible. But only thing, yeah,
Oh,
so you need to spend enough time. There are a lot of hands-on and assignments in this initial trade.
okay. And I'm sorry I skipped some of this demo session, but will can I expect any projects from your side as well after this course so that I can work on my own?
Yes, yes. There
Oh,
are three projects we have, more like real time. Yeah,
okay. Okay, great. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
not a problem.
Uh,
Thanks.
yeah, project means how we are going to assign that, how we are going to do that.
See, first we will learn individual topic and we will learn individual services. And in the each service, there is assignment. For example, we cover EC2 and there is assignment. There is a small kind of assignment like setting up EC2 instance and setting up a web server. Now, when we go for projects, so it is a combination of multiple services. You need to combine multiple services. For example, we will have a project to set up one school management application. To make that application up and running, so you need to have a app server, you need to have a database server, so you need to have a load balancer, so you need to have the network connectivity which is created in the secured manner. So there are security groups you need to create. You need to create a auto scaling group. So now when you say the school management application deployment, so we will give a pointers. It should be set up on this manner. So in that case, you need to use multiple AWS services, whatever we discussed, and that will make that entire project, live. Now, initially, we will just give a problem statement for you. It should be set up like this. And once it's set up by yourself, and we will also give the document, which will tell you to how to set it up one by one. Right. So, but in case if you're failing to do yourself, you can refer that document and complete it.
Okay. There will be no class like 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 or 9.
Not currently. So we have 8 a.m. Sorry, 7 a.m. Which is starting.
So, okay. 5:30. So where I am living, that it will be at 5:30 in the morning.
Okay, okay, okay.
Because in
So
the
we will check
day,
internally possible.
because
Yeah, so we will check
uh,
internally possible. Yeah.
right now I'm in Dubai, so it's morning 5:30. So Indian time 7 o'clock. So that is very too early at 5:30 a.m.
Correct, correct. Understood. So that's something we will check internally.
And
Something we can do.
afternoon also. Why? Because my office timing up to 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock means Indian time 7:30. So I will come back like
Okay,
7:30.
okay.
It is also afternoon also it's problem and morning both as well as.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so that's something we will check if possible. We can do
Yeah.
something with other tree now, with additional, batch. That's something we will communicate to you back here.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so if no questions, we are good to wind up. So you can communicate back to the Visualpath executive in this chat. And yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks for your time.